Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm actually going to give you guys some proven sports betting strategies and what to look for when if you're looking for a service. Let's talk about that. If you guys are looking for a service like Christopher Mitchell says copy me bet for bet, there's a couple of things you want to look for. You get a phone call, you get on some kind of list. They'll ask you the first thing, they got their game of the year. They've got their lock of the year. They got their biggest play going. Hang up on them. That's the number one thing. Number two, if they ask you how much you bet on a game, hang up on them. Nobody needs to know whether you paid $5 or $5,000. That's absolutely the stupidest question somebody can ask you. How much do you gamble? That just tells them, if you say you bet $500 a game, they know you have deep pockets and you're willing to pay for their service, or you're willing to pay more for their service. And third of all, if they tell you they're winning at some stupid rate, anything over 60%. I had one guy call me and tell me he wins at 74%. Absolutely impossible. That means they're winning 74 games out of 100. And then you have to ask them, how many games are you going off of? Five total games, and they won 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. You got to watch these guys. They're all snake oil salesmen. They're all scammers. Anybody that tells you just copy me bet for bet, run. So let's surmise that. Let's do a quick summary. A, if they tell you they have the lock of the year and to bet the most money you can afford to lose, run. They don't care about you or your family or anything. Number two, if they tell you they're making 60, 70, 80% winners, impossible. It's like in the trillions. It's in the trillions to win 75, 80%. It's impossible, okay? They wouldn't be calling you. And then them telling you they have the lock of the year and all these crazy promises. They're the best. If they're the best, they're not having a salesman call you guys. Okay, be very careful. It's very hard to win, but let me tell you the proven ways that you can make your chances better to be a better sports gambler. Okay, number one, anybody that approaches you or anything that you want to do, say you want to, let's say your bankroll for the season's $1,000. You're playing college football, gets you excited, NBA, baseball, whatever. Let's go with baseball. You got $1,000 you're going to allocate towards gambling. You don't want to bet more than 2 to 3% of your bankroll on any given game. So if you have a game that you want to play, 2% of 1,000, you don't want to bet more than $20. 3%, $30. You can't put half of your bankroll on the game. You're going to be wiped out. So what I'm saying is, what's your number one thing that you have to have if you're going to be an amateur sports bettor? You have to have this. Take this from me, because you watch these Christopher Mitchell videos and he just tells you all this malarkey and BS. You have to have a money management system to be successful. I repeat, you have to have a money management system, meaning what you're going to bet per game. And you cannot continue to martingale your bets in sports betting. You're going to get on losing streaks. Okay, you don't have endless amounts of money. You don't have a guaranteed lock coming up. So you have to have money management. So how do you do your plays? Okay, that's a great question I get asked all the time. So you have to be able to star your plays. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars is what I look at. A 1 star, probably entertainment purposes only. Maybe it's a TV game, maybe it's your favorite team, maybe you're a Dolphin fan, a Cowboy fan, maybe you like to bet on Notre Dame, Florida State. You can put $5 or $10 on that game and just make it a social, fun play. So that's one way of looking at it. Number two, you have to be able to limit your plays. You can't play 8 plays. You can't play 8 parlays. You're going to lose one of those games, and it's going to wipe out your whole everything. I saw Christopher Mitchell once did 6, 7, 8 parlays, and he had the same team linked in like 5 of them. If that one team goes down, you lose all of it. It's a big loss. You know, you have to be smart, okay? So that's number 2. You have to star your plays. You have to have bankroll management as number 1. You have to have your bankroll, and you have to manage it 2 to 3%. You can't have a 50% play. You're going to be wiped out. Okay? Star your plays, rate your plays, so you know how to put a little bit more money on them. You know, there's nothing wrong with building your bankroll at $5 and $10 and $15 at a time. You know, it cuts down on your losses, and it gives you a way to stretch out your bankroll. Okay? Also, when you're looking at lines, especially baseball, it's important to know what pitchers are going, and you have to know how they have fared in their last few outings. Are their mechanics a little off? Are things not really going right? Are they not getting any run support? You have to be knowledgeable of what's going on with the team, the lineup, all types of things. So football maybe be a little bit easier. You have to look at value and how to get a favorable line to your advantage. You could shop lines if you have more than one casino that you're betting, but you have to be very experienced in looking at line value, and that just comes with practice and time. Okay? And the last little bit of advice I'm going to give you when you're doing sports betting, it's, you know, I'm not telling you anything for sure, because there's no such thing as for sure, but play, you know, games that you have more knowledge on. Just because somebody tells you somebody's going to win, like I would stay away from all types of horse racing. Horse racing, probably not something that you want to get into. You know, some people love it, so it's their passion. You know, if you're good at soccer, if you're good at hockey, maybe stick to one thing. You can't possibly be experienced at everything. Okay, so we talked about sports. We talked about managing your bankroll. Very selective on your plays. You can't play more than two. I would limit your games to 2 games a day, maybe 5 games a week. Weekend maybe a little bit more, but you have to be so selective. So selective. And people ask me a lot about trap games. What's a trap game? There's 100 different explanations for trap games, but a trap game basically is when a line looks too good to be true. There's a reason. Say you think Florida State's going to win by 18 against, let's say Florida State's playing Miami. It doesn't matter. It is, you got 2 teams, and I don't know why I'm picking Florida State. Let's just pick anything. Alabama. Let's say Alabama. They're on the board. Say the line's 35 and a half. Guys, be very careful of these trap games. You're thinking, oh my God, Alabama's going to cover this big number. You don't know if they're going to pull the quarterback at halftime. But if they're up by 35-40, and I know you're going to say, well, Alabama's second and third team can still compete with most teams, and that's probably a true statement. But this is for an example. If something looks too good to be true, it is. I promise you, Vegas doesn't just make mistakes, okay? They have full-time odds makers, line makers, sharps that are putting out a very, very competitive line. So be careful of trap games. Be very careful of something that looks too good to be true, and limit your plays so you can come back the next day and look for value in lines. You know, there's nothing wrong with buying a half a point on or off. There's nothing wrong with, you know, looking at taking an underdog and getting some points, because you never know what's going to happen at the end of the game. You just don't know. Let me tell you something. When the third string team gets in there, or the replacement players are getting in there, they're not just rolling over. They're in there trying to look good. So I hope I give you enough information. And if you're looking into sports betting, You can make money at it, and there's some people that are very good at it, but these people that are promising you the world, let me tell you something. A professional gambler, and I say professional, I'm going with amateurs, but I'm talking about, I'm giving you amateur ideas. So if you're talking about being a professional and anybody's saying they're hitting over 56%, run from the hills, hang up on them and ignore them. It's very difficult to win. And if you're making 56%, you're very good at it. So guys, please subscribe to the channel. Don't believe a lot of the BS that's out there. I'm giving you information. I don't charge you for my information, but I'm giving you factual, good information. So please subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you on the next video.